Welcome back. It is always a good day. When I wake up, I give thanks. And I know that today is a day that I am privileged to step out in my studio and speak to someone that I absolutely love so dearly. She is a very good friend of mine. She actually, I think, was a co-author and certainly helped me to break through to be able to write The Next Room in spirit with my mother. Pamela Oslie is her name. She is a great friend and has been since, boy, Pam, I've known you since the 80s now, not to date us. But Pamela's an author. She is a consultant. She is a radio talk host. She's been on television. She has literally been everywhere and has been known as a very renowned psychic medium, and can read aura colors, which she has taught me to do, which has been incredibly helpful in my life in dealing with other human beings. Helps us to see each other on a whole different level. Although she has now retired from the psychic medium world, I just thought, you know what? No better time than the first of the year to have my dear friend on to talk about higher consciousness, to talk about the evolution of our souls while we're here, and perhaps what is waiting for us in the next room. So, without further ado, thank you for joining me, Pam. How are you?
I'm good, Jane. It's so great to see you again. You are such a busy girl. I love it. I love what you're putting out in the world. So it's really affecting the consciousness. So I want to appreciate you, and you're very generous. You come from your heart, from your soul. And I so appreciate all the projects you're doing.
Thank you. It has been a very, very busy 2023, and 2024 is shaping up to just be a wild ride. All good though. So Pam, that being said, right now I hear so many people exclaiming about, how difficult things are. And I'm not finding that to be the case whatsoever. Let's talk about that and how perhaps we can shift our perception of this doomsday attitude that people are espousing, all over the place.
Jane, every one of us, each soul here is having a unique experience. We're all adding to the collective consciousness, to the universe, to all of that. So, whatever people want to experience, they get to experience. What I like to talk about is how we have a choice of that and how we're actually creating. I believe we're creating our reality. We can meld it down and just say we're creating our experiences with our thoughts and our beliefs. But I study quantum physics. I've spoken to physicists and big auditoriums of scientists and physicists and had one-on-one with people, scientists, physicists that are talking about parallel universes even. So what's happening right now, Jane, we all know, is there's a big shift going on. And so anytime there's a big change in consciousness, chaos seems to go with it. So there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of shift, but you and I both are very optimistic. Well, I've spoken to the other side. I've seen they've given me downloads and images of what's coming, and to me, it's way more exciting. So going through the birth pangs when we're birthing a new consciousness, a new species, a new lifestyle. Yeah, there can be people with resistance. There can be a lot of fear that comes up with people because a lot of people don't like change. Um, and one of the big things that is coming up that I hear a lot of fear from people is AI, artificial intelligence. So much fear around that. And I see it making things better. One, we're going to have to start questioning. They're going to have to start defining or describing actually what consciousness is, because so many people are afraid that it's going to become the Terminator, that it's going to become conscious and get rid of humanity. I go, well, we're going to have to start defining what consciousness is then, which scientists haven't been able to do ever. They're just now starting to really work on it. It started in the 1900s. They started looking at what consciousness was and saying that consciousness was fundamental. In other words, consciousness is creating all of this. And then the wars got in the way and everything got put aside. But Jane, a lot of physicists are coming back around to exploring consciousness. That's the new frontier. And when we really get what that is, it's going to change everything when people start realizing that their own consciousness is creating their experience, whether you want to say it creates out of nothing or it creates, you bring yourself into a parallel universe. There's lots of ideas of what consciousness is and what it's doing and where it's going. But back to I see it being able to give us more freedom. We're still acting like slaves, Jane, to money. People are so concerned about money and they're doing jobs they don't like. So we abolished slavery 150 years ago, at least. I don't even know how long ago, but I know it was a long time ago. And yet people are still acting like slaves to money. They're doing jobs they don't like. They feel held hostage to that. So what I see AI doing when people are worried about it's going to take over jobs. It's like, yay, then the rest of us can start doing what we love to do instead of worrying about putting food on the table. Just there's a lot of changes ahead, but I see it leading to a new consciousness, higher spiritual consciousness. AI is going to be able to do all the tasks we don't like to do. So it frees us up to live more aware, more consciously, more creatively. We get to do what we love to do instead of being bound by jobs that we don't like. So that's a long way of saying I'm optimistic about the future. The other side has shown me that we're headed for a new renaissance, which is a new life, a new way of looking at life, new philosophy, new science based on quantum physics instead of Newtonian physics, new art, new medicine, new healthcare, new way of educating. It's just like, it's really exciting times, although it can look scary. But you and I both know if you focus on fearful thoughts, you're going to experience things that bring up fear. If you focus on the solution and the positive and being optimistic and not just airy fairy head in the sand type of stuff, I'm not talking about that. I mean, really exploring all the positive, exciting things that are emerging. And you and I both know, because we've been doing this. I mean, yes, I've been doing readings for just under 40 years. So it was time for me, and seeing 6 to 8 people a day. So yes, it was time for me to go to a whole new level too, a different level of freedom and experiences here on the planet. So we're all going through that right now. And you and I both have seen a shift where more and more people are interested. The dialogue is becoming more like this. The conversations are becoming more spiritual, more quantum physics, more consciousness. When I first started this, it was like, no way. People are like, what's wrong with you? You're crazy, or what you're doing is evil, or what you're doing is not possible. It's not scientifically possible. And now the conversation is just, wow,
Hmm.
more people. So that alone makes me excited to see where the consciousness is going.
Two things came out of that. Let's go back to fear and about, doing things that we love. What do you say to someone that is saying, okay, that's all well and good, but how do I put food on the table if I don't go to work and do maybe this job that I'm not crazy about? How do they get in an attitude or a perception of shift so they can get out of that rut?
One of the things that I know, and I write about this in a couple of my books, when you have a belief, you're going to gather evidence to prove that that belief is true.
Uh-huh.
In order to change it, you consciously choose a different belief. I didn't say quit your job yet, okay? But consciously choose a different belief and then consciously start gathering evidence to prove that that belief is true. So, for example, not everybody out there is doing jobs they hate. Not everybody is out there is just surviving. There are people that broke through that do what they love, and they're making a lot of money. Matter of fact, watch, this is a shift in beliefs. We pay people the most amount of money who play for a living. They play sports, they play music, they play roles in movies. So obviously we know that playing, we value that on some level because we pay them the most amount of money. So instead of thinking, and the people that make the least amount of money are people that work the hardest, probably coal miners and digging ditches. And it's like, wow, they don't get paid the most amount of money. So if you can start gathering evidence to support your new belief, eventually that will start shifting. Jake,
Okay.
did we ever play that game with your listeners about, let's do a game real quick to show people what
Okay.
I'm talking about,
Okay.
okay?
Go ahead.
Right now, everyone that's listening, look around your room right now and notice everything that you see that's blue. Everything that you see is blue. Really look around, really look carefully, look around, see, notice everything that you see is blue. Okay. Get a good look. Okay, close your eyes. Now, with your eyes closed, remember everything you just saw that was blue. Remember it in your mind's eye, everything that you just saw was blue. Okay. Now open your eyes and look around and see if you noticed anything, you missed anything that was blue, even what you're wearing or your computer screen or, on the floor and the walls behind you. Just notice if you missed anything that was blue. Okay. Now close your eyes again. With your eyes closed, no peeking, no cheating. Remember everything you just saw that was yellow or gold with your eyes closed. Okay. Open your eyes and look around and see if you missed anything in your room that was yellow or gold. Really look around. Jane, did you miss anything?
I did.
Okay. Now here's the deal. That yellow or gold was in your environment the whole time, but you didn't notice it because you had an agenda going on to look for blue. Okay, so that's what you saw. So when people have a belief, which creates an agenda going on that I have to work because I have to survive, there's no other options. Life is hard, money's scarce, I'm struggling, the world is against me, whatever. If they have a belief like that, they're going to gather evidence and they're going to look for it in their world to support that evidence.
Mm.
But the truth is, there's all kinds of other options out there, other beliefs, other ways of living. There's probably days that you had that you weren't struggling or just surviving, or there's other people that are doing it. And just because you're not doing it doesn't mean it's not possible. So that shows you that whatever your beliefs are, you're going to perceive reality. You're going to perceive your life and who you are through the screens of those beliefs. So the key is consciously choose a different belief and start gathering evidence to show that that belief is also true. And if you want to change that, because not everybody, Jane, if everybody believes what you do, it's a mass belief. If not everybody in the world, if not everyone believes what you do, it's a personal belief, and personal beliefs can be changed.
Wow. Thank you for that. That was a very succinct answer to that question, which brings me to question two. You were literally taking on clients, what, 5, 6 days a week, psychic medium for close to 40 years. And when you decided to retire because you said you wanted to shift and go to the next level, what is it that you're doing now, Pam?
Jade, my whole focus is on there's something deep inside me. I listen to inner voice a lot. I listen to inner guidance. I listen to soul, higher consciousness, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. I do a lot of listening to that because I've noticed if I don't, uh-oh, I find out later why that voice came up, what it was that was going to help me avoid something or pick a better path. So there's a deep voice inside me, Jane, that tells me it's time for me to go to a higher level of consciousness. That doing the same thing, same thing, same thing, it was helping everybody. I loved the people, I loved the experience, but I was doing the same. And so some voice inside me said, it's time to go to a new level because when I go to a new level, I actually help affect the consciousness in general, actually help open the way. That's what I did with my whole life. When I heard something was real, like psychic abilities or bending spoons or parallel universes, I would delve really deep into them first to prove to myself that they were real or really possible. I would do them and then I would demonstrate that to other people. So I know that this next level that we're going to, Jane, which ultimately, and I don't have the timing on it, but I know it's heaven on earth. I know it's our souls having dominion over our own lives. It's us waking up and seeing who we really are, not these little biological slaves trying to survive here. There's some knowingness that's deep in me, and I knew it was time for me to take a leap to start seeing that for myself, to start proving that to myself. And so I heard it, I was drawn to it, and I took a leap and I did it. And I let go of everything, my radio show, writing books right now, doing interviews, except for you, because you're my buddy. I let go of everything. the workshops, the seminars, all the stuff that I was doing, teaching live classes. I have all that on my website now, so people can still go and get those courses and learn this themselves. But I let go of everything that was bringing me an income to step into the unknown, to step into a level that I know deep inside is there for us, Jane. And that's my calling, and I'm trusting it. And I let go of
Wow.
all of the income producing resources that I had.
That's wild. Are you having fun? Because you mentioned the last time we got together that you really were looking forward to having fun and playing. Are
As
you
soon
doing that?
as, soon as I, well, there's two faults here. As soon as I stop seeing clients, because I do believe people have their own answers inside too. I traveled all over the place, Jane. It was nonstop fun and traveling. I just went to all kinds of places, went and visited friends, went to Europe, went to Hawaii, I was having a great time. And I've noticed that sometimes for me to encourage myself to go to a new level, I set up a challenge. Just like if you go to the gym, you don't always just lift 5 pounds, 5 pounds, 5 pounds, or you walk the same distance. You push yourself beyond it. So I have created a unique challenge for myself to something I've never done before in my life to see if I can basically use what I believe to be true about our thoughts create reality, parallel universes, to see if I can do that with this complete challenge.
Which is
Um, I have never broken a bone before in my life, and I broke both my feet and my knee.
what?
Yeah, yeah.
When, how, and when?
Um, I broke my first foot. I broke last year, 2022 in the fall. And as I was recovering, even though I heard slow down, stop, slow down, be quiet, go inside, and I didn't. I got very busy because anyway, I got busy, no excuses. And then I broke the other foot and my knee in at the end of July. I had the whole, and I figured I had never really focused on my physical body. I'm being very real and open with your listeners. It's never been about being a physical person. I've always been very spiritual and mental and quantum physics and all that bit. So I go, oh, I'm having the full physical experience now. It's very painful. I was in the hospital having emergency surgery. I was in a rehab facility for a month.
Oh my goodness.
Finally went, okay, I've had this experience. I'm over it. And they went, well, you're not done yet. And I go, no, I'm going to go home and do this. So I've been doing visualization. And every time I go to physical therapy now, they go, wow, you've made more progress in 1 week since we saw you last than we see people making in a month. So what do
Wow.
you do? So I am using my consciousness and I've made incredible strides, but it was an experience I'd never had before. I figure when I finally transition somewhere down, I go, well, I did it all. I did that and I did that and I did that. And there's certain experiences that I like more than others. But it's definitely, especially when you're in physical pain, Jane, it's very convincing that that's real. But I use people like Anita Morjani. I use her story of how she died of cancer and then
Hmm.
she had a near death experience, came back, and there was no cancer in her body. So I go, there's something about the physical body that we don't know about, i.e., its energy. And then also Dr. Joe Dispenza, how he healed his back, even though they told him it wasn't going to be possible. He healed himself from a major bike injury against all odds by doing the same thing, by using consciousness. So I use those as, it is possible. And so I've been proving it to myself, and it's definitely a bigger challenge physically than I've ever experienced before. And I'm okay with it. I know that on
Wow.
some level, I chose that one because everything else I was able to do. I was able to do the relationship stuff and the financial stuff and the creating my projects and having a radio show and being on national television, all the things, and traveling to the places I really wanted to travel to and becoming friends with people that had always been on my bucket list ever since I was young. I did all that. What I didn't do was the physical body challenge. And
Hmm.
so a lot of empathy for people that go through that now. And I'm also owning that my soul wanted an experience to prove to myself. I mean, I've been able to bend spoons. So I know that mind over matter is possible. now I'm doing this one.
That's incredible. What I'm hearing is that you're owning this experience that you just went through because you feel maybe deep down you must have felt that you needed this for whatever reason, whatever lesson. Did you ever go through the why me or feeling down or sorry for yourself, or did you just shift?
Oh, no, no, no. When you're in that, this is the most painful experience I've ever been through in my life. I mean, I have metal in my body now. So it's like, okay, that was really painful. I didn't do the why me because I do believe I create my own reality. I did do the, this is really painful. I don't like this. How come I can't shift it? So I went through experiences and I still do occasionally, like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I shift this? I know how it works. I know it's all energy. And I also honor that I have spent my whole life being trained to be a physical person, what's possible. And of course, all the doctors repeat that. Oh, no, 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 you're not going to be able, no, you're always, no, there's always going to be a problem here. Now it's like, ah. So I go through those challenges of hearing the consciousness that exists on the planet. And then I go through the challenge of going, do I believe in this or not?
Hmm.
Um, and has it always been easy? Do I do the feel sorry for myself days? Oh, heck yeah. When I'm in that much pain, oh, wow. And then I go, okay, I don't want to, I'm hard on myself, Jane, is what it is. I have high expectations, but I also don't want to use that as an excuse to slide into victim consciousness.
Hmm.
I don't like victim consciousness. I don't like it when I do it. I can do it. But I still own that I created this. I trust that I created it for a reason. I don't believe that I had to learn this as a lesson. I believe it was more a choice because I'd never done it before.
Hmm.
There's certain experiences I've never done before, and it's a new arena for me. And I've always liked pushing boundaries. I don't like I don't like limitations. So this
Wow.
has been very convincing. But I mean, I told you the story of my dad dying, right? Or my dad
Right. Yeah.
that was a second big challenge for me because for people who haven't heard this story before, I was called to Ohio to the bedside of my dad in the hospital saying he was dying. And when I walked in the room, he was gone. I mean, he had no awareness that we four kids were in the room. I saw his deceased mother and three of his siblings in the room that were all on the other side. So that's my sign that somebody's getting ready to transition when their loved ones are around them in the hospital room. So I accepted that for 4 days. And at the end of the fourth day, I went, wait, am I ready to lose my dad? I go, no, and I don't believe he really wants to die. But more than that, I followed Christ's teachings a lot, and he brought beings back from the dead. So I go, okay. And he said, the things you see me do, you can do also. And I went, all right, I'm holding you to that. But that was another big challenge. That was really scary to hold to that image. And I shifted into a parallel universe because I believe those are real. I've used them before, but that one was really challenging for me, Jane. When I went, no, I'm going to shift to a universe where my dad is healthy and alive and not dying, and he still has more time. And I really focused on that image. The next day we walked into the hospital. He was sitting up like nothing was wrong. He was talking to us. Oh my gosh, when did you guys arrive? Oh, it's so good to see you. So good to and one of the things when I hugged him, the first thing he said to me is my brother still alive? Because I've been talking with him. I've seen him just as real as I'm seeing you. But I went to his funeral. I saw him in the casket. I saw him dead. But I was talking to him like, I know he's still alive, right? I mean, I went, yeah, Dad, you did see him. He is still alive. I saw him in the room with you too, but my dad could not stop talking about that because it confused him. So anyway, that was also a big challenge for me because I was challenging what I'd been taught that the things you see me do, you can do also. And I went, all right, I'm bringing somebody back from the brink of death, right? And it happened. And my dad lived quite a while after that. He got out of the hospital. He was alive for quite a while after that. So it's like, wow, but this is a new challenge. And I
Hmm.
own it. I don't like it. At the same time, if I hold the perception of what I am grateful for, I'm not in Gaza right now. I'm not being bombed out of my home, and I do believe it's all energy. So it's like, well, I'm proving it to myself.
Wow. I cannot thank you enough for sharing your painful story over your broken parts and then backing it up with your belief system and what occurred with your dad, because that's just beyond. It's just so beautiful. Um, Wow. If you are listening to the show right now, Pam Oslie is my guest. It's auracolors.com. She has all kinds of really cool things on her website. You can purchase her books, you can take a free Aura Color quiz. Her courses are there. You can connect with Pam there, although she's not going to do a reading for you. Do you know how many people have like hit me up like, hey, do you think you could call your friend Pam? And I'm like, absolutely not. I would never do that to that woman. And then I'll say, let me look and I'll vet a couple other people, which I do now because I get hit up by a lot of psychic mediums to come on the show. And I put them through an interview process before I bring them on the show now, because I had one experience that was not good
Mhm.
where, and I thought, goodness sakes, I'm putting these people out there and I need people that are trustworthy. And you are so the real deal. Okay, so you're healing. So that is what next.
I'm actually
Aside,
walking.
okay, go ahead. We have a few more minutes.
I'm walking. I mean, so it's
That's
like
incredible.
energy. It's all energy. I visualize myself healthy and happy and strong and walking. And despite what these little voices are doing out there, I go, okay, they're just reflecting the little doubts that I have that this is
Right.
impossible. So no, I'm making progress.
I love that. And I'm sure now the blessings for all 10 toes and your ankles and your shins and your calves and your feet and all of it. I'm sure you're just like, oh, this is a miracle. Just to be able to get up and walk is such a gift. Many people cannot walk.
Yeah, and it created a lot of empathy too. I mean, I always had empathy for people, but when
Sure.
you experience it firsthand, so I advise against people, you do not have to do what I did. I'm doing it too. I'm doing it for you. I'll tell you it's painful, and now you don't need to do it, and it's healable. You don't need to do it. Just have empathy for people. Or if you do, you know what? I tell people this all the time. If you're going to have an experience, go for the juice, get the full juice out of it. So you got the experience. And then when you're over it, when you're bored with it, when you're done with it, when you're complete with it, you can shift. And I do
Yeah.
all the time. It,
That's a great lesson too, because everyone that's listening, there's a mindfulness wrapped around us, and so many times we're moving so fast, and we're not slowing down to really learn what it is that we're here to do, right? And that's when we trip, that's when we fall, that's when we get in an accident. Um, and it's just it's so important just to take it down a notch. What are we in a hurry for anyway? I used to tell my dad that all the time, especially when he started slowing down. It was like I learned the art of walking slow when my dad was in his 90s because I didn't want to race ahead of him. I wanted to walk gently beside him, and he was walking very slowly. But it was good. It was a great, I keep looking at him because he's laughing. It was a good lesson for me to learn. Um,
and Jane,
our,
also real
Go
quick,
ahead.
I want people
Yes.
to know I'm not judging anybody else that's struggling for money or they feel like they're stuck in their jobs or that they can't heal their bodies either.
No, I get that.
Absolutely no judgment. I want people to know big time. I trust their souls know exactly what they're doing.
Hmm.
Having an experience, there's a reason for the experience. My message is just, and you have a choice. You have a choice because most people think that they're stuck in something. There's no choice. There's no free will. There's nothing they can do about it. It's like, okay, that's one way to look at life. And if you don't want to look at life that way, that's not the only option. You have
Mm.
free will. You can change your beliefs. You can change your thoughts. There's so many people that have overcome just incredible obstacles,
I,
survive things that other people didn't survive. It's like it's possible, but no judgment. You are whatever experience you're going through, get whatever your value is out of it. And then just know you have a choice to change it when you're ready and if you're ready. And if you stay in it your whole life, that's okay too. You're still loved. You are loved unconditionally. Just, get the full juice out of the experience.
I love that. I think right now, the entire audience that I have with the next room, which it's growing and it's global, I think if we all send just complete love and healing to Pam, that she has a complete healing with her feet and her knee, and she just can dance again very, very soon. I think that would be lovely. So let's all take a moment and send Pam that love and that energy and that healing, because together we are amazing, the things that we can do if we collectively come together in love. It's so, so important. And anymore, like I'm seeing and hearing about so many relationships that are splintering right now because one of the people is growing and the other people is person is staying back behind and holding on old grievances and old grudges and just blame. And that person, this one is, see ya, I gotta grow. And this one is like, but no, I want to be afraid and staying behind. And I'm telling you, I'm seeing it and I'm personally experiencing it as well right now. So we can collectively come together and shift for the betterment of everyone on the planet. That's my opinion.
And those souls might have done that, had an agreement to do that. So one of them could fly and the other one could, be
Right.
an example, or a base or whatever. They probably agreed to do that. So there's not a good guy, bad guy. It's just, oh, different experiences now. Or maybe that couple, they've been together in many, many lifetimes. And in this lifetime, they went, thanks for your help. Okay, I'm going to go try something different this time.
That's great. I love that. I love that phrase. It was an Arnold Patton. He used to say, is it good news, bad news? No, it's just news. And I love that when somebody's like, oh, I have some, my kids will go, I have good news and bad news. I'm like, no, it's just news.
Mhm.
It's all good. Well, Pamela, thank you so much for joining me on the next room. My audience absolutely loves you. I get an enormous amount of downloads when you're on the show, so it's good for my show. But also, I learn from you every single time we have a conversation. And this one, um, you were very raw and very real, and my goodness, dare I say human during this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
We don't need better lights anymore, Jane. I mean, it's like, hey, this is what I'm doing. What are you doing? Oh, cool.
Yep.
And for judgment, it's like, wow, you're an experience. And I'm amazed at how many people. The first time I fell, within 1 to 2 weeks, I found 13 other people that I knew had fallen also. Jane was like,
Wow.
wow. So, see, I was in that parallel universe and I made a joke. I know we're out of time, but I made a joke and I went, maybe on some level the earth stopped spinning and then it jerked to start again and we all lost our balance. That's why we all. And you know what? I found out a little short time later, the sciences actually saw that the core of the earth either stopped spinning or slowed down or has actually reversed its spin. So there's actually something that did happen in the core of the earth, even though I was joking about
Wow. That's amazing.
it.
That is absolutely amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on. If you want to contact Pamela or you want to go check out her courses, purchase her books, I'm telling you, the Aura Color Quiz is super fun. It's just so great because it really strips things down and it's very well done. You just put your name and your email in there, go through a cool questionnaire, and it will spit out your colors. And then you'll be able to start recognizing other people and what aura colors they came on the planet. And it really helps in relationships. It really helps me. I tend to really love my blues, my blue friends, and I love my violet friends, and I'm really drawn to yellows because they're playful. But it's a lot of fun. So it's auracolors.com. All the links will be on the show page. Pamela, any final words before we say goodbye?
And people to know once they find out their aura colors, there's free videos and written information about what those colors mean.
I
So
love that. Thank you very much for joining me, Pam Oslie, auracolors.com. Thanks again. I will talk to you next week on the next room.